Hey, what's up? We are live. That's right, with Prime's Fantasy Island. Welcome to the islands, man. Live in the Prime Reaction Sports and Raider Reaction Studio. Looks like I didn't consider the time zone, so I'm on late. But hey, what do you know? I'm here to answer your fantasy questions. I'm here to, if you got questions about the up-and-coming fantasy week, I'll be happy to answer those. Of course, I am not just your average guy just talking about this stuff. I am a champion as well as a pretty well-rounded fantasy sports player as well. You know, I played some fantasy basketball, illegal blindside block. Oh, all right. Canyon, he's a supporter. By the way, if you want to be a supporter, just click that little box right there at the top right-hand side of your screen for Raider Reaction. Helps us put these shows together and do even more. Plus, you get all sorts of goodies. We even have a raffle once a month for all of our supporters. But to answer your question, an illegal blindside block, right, is when a player is engaged, say an offensive player. Let's say it's a tight end or a tackle at the end of the line. What up, Todd? An illegal blindside block is when that tight end or tackle, right, is engaged, but then he turns, and when he turns, bam-o! The defense or the offensive player, defensive player, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, you just can't hit a guy when he's engaged, basically. If he's engaged, then yeah, and he turns around and sees you, and bam, he's flat on his back. Then that's an illegal blindside block in the NFL. And the funny thing is way back when I played some high school football, and I was a wide receiver at the time, and we used to have this 36 quick pitch where, why can't we open the Death Star? They have fans tonight. I know. Good morning, Prime. We're good. Okay. Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good whatever. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Prime's Fantasy Island. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and all the such. You can get all of our old episodes. Well, there aren't any old episodes of this. This is a new show. But, the Ghost to the Post and such like that, and all of the, the Commission's Raider reports and such. You can find all those on YouTube, in fact. But, I just wanted to let you know that this is a fantasy football show. So I appreciate you Raider fans right there. You guys got some pretty good fantasy prospects. What up, Walter? Thank you for being a supporter. You the man, Walter. You know, that's what I'm going to do. Every time I see a supporter, they get the man thing. So, yeah, weird calls on Thursday night football. Well, it's Thursday night football. And, and it just so happens that my provider, or what have you, cannot provide the game. The only place I can watch the game is on my phone, which is obviously in use right now. But anyway, it was a weird week one, man. It was a weird week one. Not all the guys we thought were going to score points scored points. I mean, there were top-notch players that had single-digit, bottom-of-the-barrel performances. And that was a bummer. But, it's week 2 now. So, if you have any questions about fantasy football, something about your lineup or anything like that, feel free to post them. I will try to keep up with the comments the whole time. And in the meantime, we'll just talk about some of those primetime performers from last week, In fact, one of those primetime performers, and did I steal that from Deion Sanders? I don't know. I might have. But we'll just call them prime players, right? The prime players, right? Well, I got to look at, the running back of the Las Vegas Raiders, Jacobs, man. Oh, man. He had a good day. He had a great day against the Carolina Panthers and the so-called defense they rolled out there. Raiders did come away with the win, by the way. But, this year is so unpredictable. Well, you the man, Walter. Do I have sharks on my island? Yeah, there's a couple of sharks. Yeah, Browns will make... Man, honestly, if it were a better game, I probably wouldn't have come on right now. I have to admit. But the Bengals and the Browns, like the Battle of Ohio, I just, if you got any Bengals, you're probably going to start AJ Green. If you're rolling with Joe Burrows, man, you got balls because he's, rookie quarterbacks. They're a bit scary anymore. But, I do play in, of course, the Hardcore Challenge, and I do play in another league as well that's a little more local. Hardcore Challenge is international, practically, at least in North America, from Canada down to Florida. So I got a question here from Raymond Perez Sr. Who do you play at quarterback this week, Brady or Watson? Well, let me take a look. Of course, Brady's going to be going against the Panthers, who gave up a whole lot to Derek Carr. I think over 270 some odd yards. He went like 22 of 30, I think, against the Panthers. So Tom Brady, he had a rough go against one of the better defenses in the league, the Saints. And I don't think, and yeah, I got to agree with you, Chris Montiel there. The Celtics Heat game is actually a better game. I mean, week 2 with the Browns and the Bengals, like, ugh. But NBA playoffs in the bubble, I mean, how good has that been this year? I don't even want to talk about it. What about those Clippers? Who runs LA? I don't want to talk about it because, man, it's just too good. It's just too good. So I would actually go with, well, let me take a look here because Deshaun Watson is a fantastic fantasy quarterback, obviously, because he's a running threat too. On top of that, so, and they're playing the Ravens. Now, the Ravens defense is not quite the Ravens defense of what it once was, but they can still get after it. The Ravens can still get after it, and the way that they run the ball in Baltimore, those Ravens, they run the ball a lot. Whether it's Mark Ingram or J.K. Dobbins. Both of which are fine fantasy plays this week. I'd love to get you started, Chris. I'm telling you, man. Anyway, both of J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram are good this week as well. But they're just part of the running game. The quarterback is part of the running game. So I got to go with, in this case, where I would normally go with Deshaun Watson. To answer your question, I would go Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is going to outscore Deshaun Watson this week in fantasy football. Now, who's going to win the actual games? That's a whole nother story. But, Deshaun Watson, as much as I want him to blow up, I just don't know if he's going to get that chance against that Raven defense. And Tom Brady is playing those pussycat dolls. I mean, the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers, they're not looking that great, especially on defense. On offense, they got a little something going, but on defense, they couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop a rabbit. I don't even know what that means, but yeah, that's what's going to happen there. So, anyway, some of the highest scoring players from last week were rather astonishing because it seems, yeah. Oh my God. So, all right. First of all, you got to be old as, what up? Laura, Big L, you the man, Big L. So, who do I have for my receivers? Okay, for me, I have Michael Thomas, who is hurt. So, if you have Michael Thomas, the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football right now, if you will. Nah, he didn't do anything week 1. He was number 1 last year. This year, he scored 4 points. He scored 4 points. I have Michael Thomas, and he's hurt with a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out for weeks. So if you have Michael Thomas in your lineup, get him out. Because no, he is not going to be producing for you this week. And maybe not next week. So, yeah. I mean, Michael Thomas was a big letdown for me. Who else do I have? I have DK Metcalf. He had a decent game, got a touchdown. Walter, you the man, Walter. Who else do I have? Cortland, the Denver wide receiver, Cortland. He did not even play. He was injured. Hopefully he comes back this week. But let's see. I mean, looking at wide receivers, and yeah. It looks like. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where'd my week one stats go? Come on now. All right, I'm having some technical difficulties, apparently. And there we go. So, yeah, some of the top scorers. Old man Tom gonna look worse. Play Deshaun. Oh, Big L, come on now. You can't see people? Look, if you can say don't freak out about week one, about your team, or about any team, then you should be able to say that about the whole league. Like, week one is definitely not an indication of whether or not a team is real good or real bad yet. I mean, you got to think, we had no preseason. There was hardly any practice, no pads. Like this season is the most good day, sir or ma'am. Nancy, what up? Nah, this season is just going to be the strangest, man. We won't really know anything until I'm saying week 6. Because these first few games, they're all like preseason games. Except the starters are playing all 4 quarters. That's the only difference. But everyone's still trying to get up to speed. So I am not gonna just write off any one team just yet. I mean, right now in the NFC East, the Washington football team looks like the best team in the division. What? Play OBJ. Odell. Well, yeah. If you got Odell, you start Odell. He's one of those guys. You gotta. If you don't have him, then you don't have to worry about him. But if you got Odell Beckham Jr., you got to start Odell Beckham Jr. Why? Because he could do what he did, man. At one point in time, he was considered one of the best wide receivers in the league. And now, all of a sudden, he's in Cleveland. And, well, you know what happens in Cleveland, I guess. Nothing. There you go. But I heard it rocks, according to some show. Anyway. But some of the highest scoring wide receivers in fantasy football last week were, of course, Davante Adams. Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers blew up. Now, will they be able to do it again? That's the question. I think this week they're playing Detroit. Let's see if that game is home or away. And it looks like it is home for the Packers. So, yeah, I know. It's that 70s show. I got this this is my COVID cut, man. I know all my people here that see this show or have seen me for the last few years on Raider Reaction, on Ghost of the Post, on the morning show, and all that stuff, know that I keep it faded. But, now, man, yeah, I just haven't gone to it. I can't do it myself. Anyway, so the Lions will be at the Packers, which is probably, that's a real good sign for Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, in fact. So I think they'll be able to repeat their fantasy performance of last week. Now, down in Atlanta, they got a pair of receivers that are balling out. Oh, Odell Beckham Jr. just scored. See, what did I say? Thank you, Brian. You the man, Brian. That's what I just said, man. If you got Odell, you start Odell, because that dude can go off. He can go off. He is good for a potential 180 yards receiving and touchdowns. He's Odell Beckham Jr., man. All that talent didn't just leak out of his... Yes. That's the only place where Cleveland rocks is on that. Ruggs. Well, Ruggs, what did he do last week? Last week, Ruggs, he made an appearance, if you will, and he did get hurt, but he did come back. So, rookie wide receivers in general, I would wait a few games, I think Ruggs is going to be a fantastic player, but is he going to be, week 1? Nah, he didn't do it week 1. Week 2? Oh, Peytonitis in front of your eyes. Oh, man. Nah, man. Lauren, Big L, I'm sorry, I just see your name there, Big L. Tommy Boy is not going through Peytonitis. The man who, had the neck surgery and he's throwing ducks. I'm going to hell, you the man. What? All right. I don't know what you're saying there, Walter. But some of the surprising performances, if you will. I got to say, Will Fuller stepped up with a strong 20 points. Sammy Watkins had 21 fantasy points. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's got that big old chip on his shoulder because everyone thought, oh, man, he's going to be the number one as soon as Antonio Brown left. And then Antonio Brown left, and Smith-Schuster, I don't know, he wasn't all that great. And Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. Now, Ben Roethlisberger came back. So if you got Big Ben on your bench, put him in. Want to know why? First half of last week's game, excuse me, a little dry. All right. First half of last week's game, Ben Roethlisberger actually looked like he was a bit rusty. He looked a bit rusty. He was missing guys. It wasn't pretty. But the second half, he came alive and hit Juju on a long touchdown. Like Juju Smith-Schuster, and man, and like I say, I don't like the guy, but the football player, he's good for 4,500 yards and a bunch of touchdowns. Nobody's late. Craven, everybody, or whatever, in the Klein household. Anyway, what up, Commish? Anyway. No, but whatever, you start Ben Roethlisberger, you start Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know about James Conner. I don't know if I would go with James Conner at this time. If you got another option at running back, you should definitely go there. But the Pittsburgh wide receiver number one, Juju, and Big Ben, definite starters this week, going into week 2. Now, also, I got to talk about Julio Jones. Me and Julio down at the schoolyard. Welcome to the island. By the way, if you are just tuning in right now, then thank you. And this is Prime's Fantasy Island. I'm talking fantasy football. I'm here to answer your fantasy football questions, and I'll talk about some fantasy stuff in between. And, yeah. So go ahead, post those questions. By the way, if you are watching this on a watch party, okay, go to Facebook /Raider Reaction. Go there right now and get in on the actual live show so I can answer your questions. If you are watching this, once again, on a watch party, go to Facebook /Raider Reaction and watch, then click on the actual live show so I can answer your questions. It's funny, last week, I had a bunch of people asking questions, and it wasn't even the live show. So it didn't really make any sense because I wasn't there to answer those questions. But it's all good. It's all good. Now, one big surprise, Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's a wide receiver that I have actually, I've messed with in the past, but he has always been a letdown. But week 1, him and Teddy Bridgewater hooked up, and it was not too bad at all. So I think those guys will be able to do that again. But anyway, I don't think Sammy Watkins has the same kind of performance. In fact, if I hate to bring up the Chiefs, I hate to bring them up here, but fantasy-wise, you're only going to start the quarterback. Oh, that rookie running back, Edwards-Helaire, and probably Kelsey. Now, Tyreek Hill is pretty enticing. He's got a boatload of talent and speed. But he only had 2 catches last week, and one was a touchdown, but only 2 catches. So, they've got so many weapons there that who knows who's going to get the ball. Who knows? They got guys they didn't even get to yet. So, are there any other questions out there? Any other fantasy football questions? I am curious. So, some more top performers. Let's look at the quarterback position. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, who I mentioned earlier. In fact, your top 5 fantasy performers at the position of quarterback. What up, Smitty? Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Prime's Fantasy Island, where I talk about fantasy football for a little while, at least. Your top 5 fantasy quarterbacks last week were Aaron Rodgers, number 1, Russell Wilson, number 2, Lamar Jackson, number 3, oh my gosh, number 4, Josh Allen, and number 5, Matty Ice, Matt Ryan. So, which of those guys do I think is going to fall off this week? Well, actually, I think Josh Allen will probably end up at the bottom of that list, if you will, that top 5, because, they do have Stephon Diggs, and he does have a big arm. I just don't see all the talent in Buffalo that people are saying they got. That's my issue. I just don't have a lot of faith in the Buffalo Bills offense. I just don't think they're that good. So, anyway, by the way, if you do have fantasy questions, feel free to ask. So, will Josh Allen be a top 5 fantasy quarterback in week 2? I'm going to say no. So, let's see. Let's take a look at running backs. And your top 5 fantasy performers of last week, week 1, like I said, it looks like, wow, Josh Jacobs had one hell of a game. He had, 93 yards rushing, 46 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns. Count them, 1, 2, 3 touchdowns. How about that? Jacobs blowing it up. Of course, that was followed by Ezekiel Elliott and then Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines. Now, do I think Nyheim Hines... And I won't get into Hines just yet. I won't, but I will. And then, of course, Christian McCaffrey and Raheem Mostert of the 49ers. They was talking about your hair. Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, I got big hair. I need a haircut. I don't want to go to the barber and sit there with a mask on, I admit. But if I leave the house, I wear a mask. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, who cares? But, who are some of the players? Let's see, top 5. Once again, I'll just run that back real quick. We got Josh Jacobs, number 1. Ezekiel Elliott, number 2. Nyheim Hines at number 3. Christian McCaffrey at number 4. And Raheem Mostert there at number 5. Do I think those guys will be able to repeat in week 2? Well, I gotta admit, I think actually Hines is going to take a back seat to the rookie. Oh, I don't care. Nancy, you can clown on my hair whatever day. Anybody can clown on my hair. I don't care. Unless you're going to come over here and cut it, then I don't care what you got to say about it. I got a lot of it. It's thick and it's soft and yeah. Anyway, but Hines actually is going to take a back seat to the rookie, Jonathan Taylor. They're out of Wisconsin. Yeah. The rookie down there for the Colts. I think he's going to be the lead dog in the backfield of the Colts this week. So if you got Jonathan Taylor, then yes, you should start him. So, yeah. Now, do I think Raheem Mostert will still do it again? Absolutely. But anyhow, so many players. So far we've gone through the wide receivers, the quarterbacks, and the running backs. But let's take a look at tight end. By the way, if you have any questions about your fantasy football lineups, feel free to ask me. Post them right there in the comments, and I will read them and answer your questions. If you are watching this on a watch party, top rookie receiver of the year? That's a good question, Walter. That's me projecting out the next 16 weeks of NFL football. But, I mean, you got to think about it. It's going to be either Jerry Jeudy or of course, Henry Ruggs III. Oh, and the guy down in Dallas, the Dallas wide receiver rookie. So I think it's one of those 3. Now, ultimately, I'm going to take Jeudy out because he's a Bronco, and Drew Lock is their quarterback, and Drew Lock is not good. He's just not good. They haven't had a good quarterback in Denver since... Yeah, well, Tyler, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Lamb. All right, Lamb is better than Jeudy. Is he? Because, you can't really... I mean, come on now. It's college football is what you're basing that on. You can't base that off of week 1, first of all, and you can't base it off of actual NFL football. So you got really nothing to base that whole Lamb is better than Jeudy thing. See, the best quarterback since Manning? Is that their last good quarterback? Well, I mean, Manning, he was nothing but a brain with an arm, and it was a weak arm at that. Dude, if it weren't for his mental fortitude, then Peyton Manning would have been worse than Chad Pennington. You know? Anyway. But at one point in time, yeah, Manning's good. CeeDee Lamb, yeah, CeeDee, so it's going to be Lamb or Ruggs the third, I think, are going to have the best season this year. Now, I think that with the other wide receivers in Dallas, including the Raiders' old boy, yeah, I gotta go with. I'm gonna go with Ruggs actually to have the best season this year. I called that during the draft actually. And I'm gonna stand by it until the guy is washed out of the league or something like that. Maybe he's a hoax or something. No, he's not a hoax. He's good. Ruggs is good. He will find his way on the NFL field, and he will be good. So. Yeah, everyone has to stay healthy, Tyler. That's the name of the game, man. I got Michael Thomas on my fantasy football team, and yeah, he's hurt. So, yeah, I feel you, Tyler. I thought Ruggs was the best wide receiver out of that group, only because how his speed will translate into the NFL. Because of players such as Marquise Brown, otherwise known as Hollywood Brown. Yes, so is Hollywood Brown. So is Tyreek Hill. So is Stephon Diggs. Like, the small, super fast receiver is kind of in vogue right now in the NFL. Like, all I do is watch the games. All I do is watch the games, you know? So, I mean, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Hollywood Brown, small receivers, all very productive. So, I think Ruggs will be right there with him. Got to take a look at tight ends. Tight ends played some football last week, week 1. Your number 1 tight end was Dallas Goedert, which is a surprise on the team with Zach Ertz. You know, Mark Andrews had himself a game. Noah Fant out of Iowa. Oh, Walter Ross wants to know, who do I think? Well, my pick for MVP is kind of funny, right? Because my pick for MVP, I'll answer that question real quick. I think it's Kyler Murray. You're like, Kyler Murray? Yeah, Kyler Murray. He just got one of the best wide receivers in football. It's his second year. I mean, if you want to go back and look, our last MVP was Lamar Jackson. When did he get it? Week 2, or year 2. The MVP before that was Patrick Mahomes. When did he get it? Second year. So, who do I think is going to win it this year? Kyler Murray. Why? It's his second year. He's got one of the best receivers in the league, and that's just how it's going, man. He shouldn't have won the offensive rookie of the year. That should have went to Josh Jacobs. But yeah, they gave it to him, and I think they're going to give him this one too. I think he's going to get the MVP. You know, they got to play. But hey, they beat the 49ers, you know. So, hey. So, all right. Once again, your top 5 tight ends from last week: Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, Noah Fant, T.J. Hockenson, and Travis Kelce. Wow. It appears that the University of Iowa really is tight end university, because T.J. Hockenson and Noah Fant both played there. And here they are, top 5 week 1 tight ends. Who knew? I didn't know. I didn't think so, but here we go. Now, do I think they'll be able to do it again? Who do I think out of that group is going to be able to do it again? Well, I got to say, Noah Fant and T.J. Hockenson, I'm just not 100% buying right now. I think they're both good, but it's their quarterbacks and their teams. T.J. Hockenson plays for the Lions. The Lions only play for 3 quarters anyway. And Noah Fant plays for the Broncos, and I don't want to start talking about Drew Lock again. Like, that guy's a bum. You heard it here. But, will Dallas Goedert be there again? Man. I mean, he's kind of the shock. I mean, where is Zach Ertz? Zach Ertz, he's way down the list. Jimmy Graham actually scored more points than Zach Ertz. Yeah, Lock sucks. That's what I said, Tyler. Yeah, but Jimmy Graham, remember that guy? Remember when he was like one of the best tight ends in football? What happened? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what happened. Maybe he got old, you know. But tight ends are becoming more and more pass catchers. They're integral parts now of your fantasy football team. So, sure, whether you want football predictions or if you want fantasy help, that's what Prime is here for. That's what the Fantasy Island is all about. Prime's Fantasy Island is the name of the show if you're just joining us. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Become a supporter like Walter Ross Sr. You the man, Walter. That's right. To help us put on these shows. And of course, you can't forget about the commish, Deep Behind Enemy Lines, and, you know, the Raider Report and everything else. Ghost to the Post. That's coming back. Raider Mike. What up, Raider Mike? So, anyway, we're coming down the home stretch. However, I do want to give you one real good sleeper. Are you ready? It's in the state of California. Talking about the Rams. Robert Woods. Robert Woods has one of the best nicknames in the NFL right now. If you don't know Robert Woods' nickname, I'll tell you what it is. It is 7-Eleven. Why? Because he's always open. I didn't make it up. I'm just reporting. But Robert Woods is actually my sleeper of the week. Bam! That dude's going to be balling for the Rams, even if nobody else is. You've come to Kansas City, look me up because the Boilermaker. Not sure what you're saying, Walter. We've come to Kansas City. I mean, I was in Kansas City for the Raider game last year. It was freezing. And I had way more fun the night before. Thanks to the KC Raider Nation. At the pre-party. That was great. Man, gotta love bottle service. That's all I'm gonna say. Gotta love bottle service. But so yeah, I get down to Kansas City. I'm here in the Midwest. I get down to Kansas City to watch a couple of games a year. Usually the Raiders and maybe a couple others, just because it's a 3-hour trip. So anyway, and that's fast. That's the closest NFL I got. The closest NFL I got is 3 hours away. It's not an easy life, but it's a good one. All right. So yeah. Meanwhile, I don't want to talk about defense and kickers, but your number one fantasy defense last week was the Baltimore Ravens. Your number one kicker was Daniel Carlson. That's right. How about that? Oh, looks like, yeah, made a 50-plus yarder there. That's nice. But this is Fantasy Island, so if you have any fantasy questions, stick around for just a few more minutes, man, and I will be happy to answer them, man, woman, to have Boilermaker. You talking about, like, the, Purdue? Or the drink? Purdue University, they're the Boilermakers, I think. Yeah. And there's a drink called a Boilermaker. And I think that'll knock you in the dirt, if you know what I mean. Woo. All right. Anyway. All right. Well, in the meantime, I am going to be doing this every Thursday. So usually before the game starts. Oh, you just got, okay. Well, I hope you, good health. I wish you the best there, Walter. Hope everything was worked out for you. And, hope you're feeling good in no time. That's, Godspeed on the health thing. Absolutely. Gotta love, our supporters, gotta have, certainly do gotta appreciate our supporters and Walter, and of course our fellow Raider fans and, other fans as well. I understand that it might be a couple of other, types of football fans that watch, the Fantasy Island, So, if you are watching on a watch party, beers and tequila. Yeah, that's what it is, tequila. That's why I don't remember what it is, because it's tequila. Oh, man. Oh, no, I was down in KC. I was drinking, what was I drinking? Grey Goose and Bombay. I should not be drinking gin and vodka, but I was. I don't want to talk about it. Not together, separately. One with a lime. Anyway. Yeah, it was too much fun. So, Big projections for the week. I would say I'm going to go with probably, I won't get into projections right now. Yes, Nancy, exactly. A speedy recovery. That's what I was trying to spit out there for Walter. Yeah, man. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to do this every Thursday, usually before the game. Thank you very much, Walter. You the man, Walter. No, you the man. Let's not get started. You don't do that. You the man. No, you the man. You the man. You the man, Walter. Honestly. If you're in Kansas City or if you're in Missouri or whatever, for the KC Raider game, I will be there. I'll definitely be there. I'll be wearing some weird jersey. It's not a Raider jersey, not a KC jersey. I don't even wear team jerseys anymore. I just got like one jersey. It's kind of gray. It says Super Bowl on it. And then I got my Prime jersey. It's red, white, and blue, baby, because I care. All right. We are going to wrap things up here. Don't forget, every Thursday before the game usually, not so late, I will be running Prime's Fantasy Island. So, best of luck to your fantasy teams. If you have any questions and you're watching on a watch party, then catch us at Facebook /Raider Reaction, okay? And get the live show so I can answer your questions. In the meantime, this is Prime. 2 fingers. Peace. Much love. Football.